Hello students and welcome to English class. I'm your English teacher, Mr. Oza, and it is time for us to start a new unit and a new term. This is going to be classwork number 73. This is term 4. This is the last term of your high school career. This will be the last novel that you read in your high school career, and I personally think it's a perfect type of book for you to end your high school career on. This novel is called Siddhartha, and it is written by the author Hermann Hesse. So today we are going to talk about the main characters in this novel, so let's jump right in. Directions. Thank you for doing the first step, which is watching this video. As you're watching this video or after, I would like for you to follow along in the classwork number 73 Google Doc. You can answer all of the questions in that Google Doc. I'll be going over all the answers right here in this video. And once you finish that Google Doc, you can turn it in and you'll be done for the day. So the first thing that we're going to do before we worry about any questions or anything like that is we're going to just take a look at some images that are related to the story that we're about to read. So you can take a look at it for a second on your own. And now I can just explain some of the things that we're seeing here. All right, in this top left corner, we see an image of a person that you may have seen or heard of before, the Buddha. This is the founder of the religion Buddhism, whose name is Gautama the Buddha. And the Buddha is actually a character in this story. And over here on the right side, we actually see a statue of the Buddha as well. Down here, we see another statue of the Buddha. Now let's talk about these two other images. Here is our main character. This is a gentleman named Siddhartha. Obviously, you can see the book is named after him, Siddhartha. Hermann Hesse is the author. And over here too, Hermann Hesse is the author. And the book is called Siddhartha. So he is the main character, and he's actually going to meet the Buddha during his travels. All right, here you see him with his friend traveling together in the woods in search of spiritual enlightenment. And here he is meeting a woman who's wearing all kinds of gold in a very kind of fancy situation here. And he is, very interested in this woman here. So quick introduction to some of the kind of main topics of this book. In my opinion, I think this book is going to just really give you some good secrets. Secrets of how to live a successful, a fulfilling, and a happy life. That's why I think it's a great book to end your high school career with. It's really just like a handbook or a set of life lessons that you can learn in order to live a successful life and a fulfilling and a happy life. So it's really just, an adventure of a person whose name is Siddhartha, who's like trying to live an enlightening and happy life. And if you kind of learn from his mistakes, learn from his success, you will also be able to have a successful, a happy, and a fulfilling life. Really just trying to teach you the secrets of how to be successful in life. And so, again, that's why I think this is a great way to end your high school career. It's a short book. It's really not that long. We're going to be doing this book over the course of about 1 month. And then school year will be over. And we'll move on with our lives. It's a short book with a powerful message. It's pretty simple. It's easy to follow, but it has some life lessons that'll guide you from graduation to college. And behind my face here, it says your career and beyond. So, it's a very simple, easy to follow book, which is great. And the goal is to kind of teach you just these life lessons of how to be successful. What is the setting? All right, setting is very important. Setting means where does it take place and when does it take place. So the rough year is 590 BCE, or before the Common Era. So this is a story that takes place over 2,000 years ago, 2,611 years ago, approximately. So this is taking place in pretty ancient times. And where are we? We are in northeast India or Nepal, right there on the border of those two countries. Now let's take a map to look at our exact location. So here is the border of Nepal and India. That is where our story takes place. All right, it's pretty far away from us over here, all the way over here in Massachusetts. A couple of areas that you might be familiar with, Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic, the Caribbean islands over here in this area. The last book that we read, a lot of it took place in Afghanistan. So we're not too far away from our friends Amir and Baba from the last book that we read. And so let's take a look at kind of this area right here. We'll kind of zoom in on this area. So again, we are right here on the border of Nepal and northeast India. This is Afghanistan and the capital city of Kabul, right around here. That's the last book that we read. And yeah, Siddhartha, the Buddha, and all of these characters that we're about to meet are right here in this area, right along the border. Now, when this story took place, there were no actual nations. There wasn't really a border here. That is kind of within the last 100 years or so, these borders have become more prominent. So, to them, it's just people living on land in these kind of ancient times. Just a fun fact, by the way, much of Mr. Oza's family and ancestors are from this part of the country right here, the west coast of India, the states of Maharashtra and Gujarat, and this capital city, capital of Maharashtra is Mumbai, which is where a lot of my family lives today. So, I've gone back to this part of the country many times in my life, and, I have a pretty good, solid understanding of Indian culture and religion and stuff like that. So I'm excited to bring that perspective to you, and more than happy to answer any questions that you have about this part of the world. So now let's jump in and let's meet some main characters. All right, first of all, our main character, his name is Siddhartha. And when we meet him, he's a very young man. He's in his early 20s. We will see his entire life play out, right? So we will see him in his early 20s, right around 20 years old, and we actually get to see him all the way up until age like 80. So, watching his journey kind of teaches you maybe how you might want to live your life, or teaches you what you might not want to do in your life. He's a very spiritual person. Like, he's interested, at least in some parts of the book, is very interested in religion, and then he kind of changes his mind and focuses elsewhere. But at least when he starts the book, he's a very spiritual dude. He's very interested in learning about different religions, and then as he grows older, that changes. He seeks enlightenment. We're going to talk about this word in the next classwork. Enlightenment is a very important word, but enlightenment is just when you feel satisfaction, and you feel happiness, and you feel joy, and you feel like you're in the right spot in life. You feel enlightened. It's a little bit of a tough concept to explain, but it's an important goal for us to reach. If you seek enlightenment, and if you find enlightenment, it is the most satisfying kind of happy, joyous feeling that you can have in life. So that's our main character, Siddhartha. His best friend is a gentleman named Govinda, and Govinda is, the same age, and he's also seeking enlightenment. He's kind of a follower of Siddhartha. Siddhartha is mainly the leader, and Govinda is kind of along for the ride, at least in the early part of the book, before Govinda becomes kind of independent and starts doing his own thing. So that's an interesting dynamic to see play out, as Govinda just kind of follows his best friend Siddhartha, follows him around, and then as he grows up, he becomes more and more independent, which is interesting to see. This group of people over here, these are the Samanas. The Samanas are a group of basically traveling spiritual men, and they are very ascetic, meaning they don't really do anything for personal enjoyment. It's all about their spirituality. So they don't really eat that much. They eat enough just to stay alive. They don't do anything for their own personal, joy or enjoyment. They don't really have any hobbies or do anything for fun. They're mainly out in the woods meditating. They don't have cool fashion or cool shoes or any of that. Their only priorities lie with religion. And what religion, you might ask? They're basically doing kind of a Buddhism Hinduism hybrid. So Buddhism you might have heard of. Hinduism is the most popular religion in India, which is actually older than Buddhism. And so during this time in the book, Buddhism was like literally just created. So they're doing like some Buddhist stuff, they're doing some Hindu stuff, and they're like wandering around in the woods and just like meditating. Siddhartha sees them and he's like, wow, that's really cool. I want to do that too. Next character is Gautama, the Buddha. So the Buddha, founded the religion of Buddhism. And he had, as you can see in the background here, this is like a beautiful spot in nature. This is called the Jetavana Grove, which is where he taught his followers. He taught them how to live enlightened and peaceful and happy and kind of calm lives, free from desire, right? Free from, any sort of like material possessions and stuff like that. And, after we'll meet him in the book, which is pretty cool. Siddhartha, our main character, meets the Buddha and is like just very interested in what's going on because, the Buddha is kind of blowing up in popularity at this time. So yes, he has many followers and everybody is coming from near and far to see like what his deal is and what's so special about him. After meeting the Buddha, Siddhartha meets this woman named Kamala. I think it's pretty cool. Just FYI, the Vice President of the United States, same first name, Kamala Harris. And, this character in the novel, she's in her mid to late 20s. She becomes the love interest of Siddhartha and wants to teach Siddhartha about love. So Siddhartha never really having a romantic partner in life. Through his 20s, he meets Kamala and is, very intrigued by her, wants to learn everything that she knows and wants to spend a lot of time with her. The next character that Siddhartha meets is Kamaswami, and Kamaswami is a businessman in the big city, and he teaches Siddhartha everything about business and about money and how to get rich, all right? This is kind of one of the priorities that you might have in life. You might want to make money. You might want to, learn about like businesses and how to get rich and become wealthy. And at one point in his life, after Siddhartha is done kind of learning about religion and meeting the Buddha and learning about Hinduism and even like learning about love and relationships with Kamala, he's like, now I got to make some money. That becomes a very kind of important priority in his life. And so he learns all these things from a gentleman named Kamaswami. The last character that we'll talk about is Vasudeva. Vasudeva is a very simple man. He lives by a river, and he provides a ferry service going over the river. He's a very smart, very enlightened man. He seems like he's just at peace. He seems like he's got it all figured out. A very, very simple life, living by the river and transporting people from one side of the river to the other on his really little boat. He charges a small fee, and he's got his nice little paddle that he brings people from one side of the river to the other. And Siddhartha meets him and is very intrigued by him. He's like, how are you so just happy and you're so enlightened and fulfilled and you just seem so satisfied with life? And Vasudeva explains to him that, it's all about balance. It's all about finding a balance in life. Yes, I make a little bit of money, and I also really enjoy what I do, and I just kind of live on my own in a very peaceful way out here by the river. And so Siddhartha meets Vasudeva, and he's like, wow, that guy's got it all figured out. I want to be like that guy. So that's going to do it for our main characters here in this novel, Siddhartha. I hope that you're interested. I hope that you are ready to roll here in this last term of the school year, this last term of your high school career. I'm really excited for it. I hope you are too. And as we read this book together, I hope that you really enjoy some of these life lessons that we're going to learn together. So thank you as always for watching. You can start filling out your Google Doc if you haven't done that yet. As always, thank you for watching, and I hope that you have a great class.